everybody. Welcome, Martha Blessing, and welcome to Wednesday. I've switched the day of our live trainings for many number of reasons. But anyway, welcome. I'm Martha Blessing. I am an author, a intuitive, a life coach, and a healing mentor and spiritual teacher. And so why am I doing this live stream? Well, I work with a lot of people that are struggling to move through and move past childhood memories, energy that's getting stuck in their physical body, and it's causing anxiety and any number of other kinds of symptoms and dis-ease. So that's the topic of this live stream, is how to move through that and clear that stuff and be healthy and happy and live with joy and freedom. If you're listening on the replay, just hit a hashtag replay and you can type in any of your questions. And if you're listening now, type your questions in. I'm actually trying a new software for doing the live videos. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, let's get started. So, you have an idea that you want to have better health, right? So you're doing all of the new age spiritual visualizing better health. You're tired of living with the anxiety and the discomfort, and you're thinking, wow, I should be able to find a solution. Like, we've got so much internet access, and there's tons of healers and things out there that we can have at our access, right? When I was going through this stuff, I didn't have the internet. I didn't have all this information. So, when people finally come to me and work with me privately and they do coaching with me, here's what happens. They started out and they went to a holistic practitioner. They got supplements. They did treatments for their symptoms and conditions. They've made a decision, a pill and a bill is not the right, Western medicine is not right for me. And they know that the prescription drugs make them feel just like dead inside, right? Their energy does not feel good and they don't want to take them. And so, people are taking yoga classes, and this might be you. You're doing all of the things that they say that you should be doing, right? And you go for massage, you go for body workers, you're reading Deepak and medical medium, Tony Williams, and, Gabby Bernstein, whatever, if you're a millennial, whatever age group you're in, you're doing all of this work. You're getting Reiki. You've done acupuncture. I mean, this is classically the people that come to me. They've done all of these things. And why aren't I better? Why isn't it getting better? And deep down, especially a lot of us that are empaths and intuitives and are sensitive, we know that there's another solution. Like, we know that there's another answer. So what are we missing? Why aren't we getting at it? And we go back to the drawing board. We're back at square one, because all of a sudden, here we go again. There is energy building up, this anxiety, right? It just wells up inside of you. So you keep searching and you keep looking, and it feels like you're back at square one, of course. Okay, now I'm going to go on a vacation, and maybe that's what I need to do. I need to just immerse myself and get this stuff all out. And you go to the Bahamas, you do a detox, physical, mental, emotional, and you're there for 7 days, 10 days, whatever. And you feel great. And there's almost no anxiety, right? Of course, you're on vacation. And then you get back home. And even for a month or so, it's like, hey, it worked. I did the work and I'm feeling better, and yay. And the next thing you know, 2 months later, the anxiety is back, the discomfort, the fatigue, all of these things. Okay. So what's going on? Why is this happening? You just want to feel better. You want to feel comfortable in your body again. I get that. So somebody said to me the other day about, we were talking about creating change, and she said, it seems like I just keep hitting these roadblocks. What are the roadblocks? The roadblocks are these subliminal, subconscious stories and programs that are stuck, keeping us stuck. And it feels like no matter what you do, you keep coming back to this square one, right? Is it even possible now? You're wondering, like, how can I feel this anxiety and overwhelm and at the same time, like, be feeling depressed and worried and scared? And there's got to be a solution. You're right, there is. There totally is. Here's what happens. The first thing you have to recognize and really, really, really focus on this is that we are energy. Like everything about us is energy. Boil it down to your body is a container of energy. Yes, we have physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. We have all this stuff, but it's all still energy. Okay. And if you've listened to any of my other trainings or my videos or my live streams, you know I talk about this, right? When you go to the doctor and you do have anxiety or you do have a problem and they hook you up to an EKG, it's an electrocardiogram. They're measuring the activity of your heart. Like it's all energy. And if they find an imbalance, they're going to give you a calcium channel blocker or a beta blocker. They're going to do something, sodium, potassium. They're going to do something to change the energy, right? And that's what the medications are. Okay, the medications for anxiety and depression and bipolar disorder and all of these things, these are all energy imbalances. They can all be addressed so simply and so easily. Yes, it's work, but it totally is worth it. And it's so really, when you get this, it becomes much, much easier. And I can tell you, because I lived it for years. It's why I do what I do. It's why I teach what I teach and work with the people that I work with. So it's all energy, right? The doctors, when they give you these anti-anxieties and these psychotropic meds, they're basically changing the energy of the body. However, why it doesn't work is that the underlying cause of the energy imbalance hasn't been addressed. Okay, it hasn't been addressed. And so the anxiety starts back up again because that psychological, that trauma, that fear, that wound, that subconscious is still there. You're still having that cellular memory as an energy went into your tissues. It's somewhere in your body. Okay. So anxiety is a buildup and a mismanagement of energy. Period. That's what it is. And you have a choice. You have the ability. The one thing you do have control over in your life is what energy goes in and what energy goes out, like what comes in and what comes out in this process. Okay. So think of your body as a glass of water, as a container. And if it's the amount of water that's in that container, in that glass, determines whether or not it's going to overflow its boundaries, right? So if there is too much energy, which is what's happening in anxiety, it's coming up and it's overflowing, you've got to do something with that container. So what happens when there's too much energy, here's what I want you to understand and really focus on with this, is that the anxiety is actually a gift. It is actually there to teach you. It is actually there to direct you to what it is that is causing the imbalance. Yes, your symptoms are a discomfort, but they're a gift. And here's what's happening in most of the modalities and most of the treatments and everything that's happening when we're going to Reiki, when we're going to acupuncture, is it's opening the energy channels, but it's still not getting at the core cause. So how do we heal this? How do we heal the anxiety, the chronic pain, the discomfort? Is we move towards it. We actually move towards it. And that's what I do with clients. We unpack it, we unravel it. It just so happens that that's my superpower as an intuitive, is to get at that stuff and to, it just happens intuitively. We nail it, and then we work through it. We create the plan for it. So here's the problem. Most people are trying to run from the anxiety, right? It comes, it wells up, and it's like, and you stuff it back down. And so there's nowhere for it to go. This is that overflowing. And so the other piece of it that I want you to understand is what happens a lot of the time, and it's one of the reasons why I do these live streams in a private group. And this is a safe, secure space and container for us to be really open and honest, but it's safe in that vulnerability, because here's what happens. So many people that I talk to, when they're living with anxiety, when they're living with depression, they're putting on a good face, The double whammy is that they feel a tremendous amount of shame and they feel guilt. And so now that's complicating the situation even further because that running and hiding creates more shame, more guilt, more energy imbalance. And it just keeps us going. Like the anxiety is already bad enough. Now you're in this vicious circle, unable to figure out how to get off that crazy train, right? I get it. So the emotional wounds, the childhood stuff, the things that are the stories, I call it Groundhog Day, right? Like we wake up and we're subliminally, subconsciously wishing and dreaming for better, for more. That's our heart, that's our soul coming out and being who we are. It's like I know deep down there's something more. I know that this is like who and what I'm meant to do, whatever that is, our purpose. And then there's this programming in the subconscious mind. And all of those wounds become that story that we start to tell ourselves, right? I lived with tremendous shame. I'm still unpacking the shame that I got from my mom. And I've been unpacking for a long time, okay, truthfully. Um, and it's so interesting because then all of a sudden there's another layer. Like I totally get all of this and I move through something and then I go, oh, this is holding me back. And there was that shame, right? So it's the original wound, it's the original story. And then there's this tremendous amount of shame, like we're hiding. People are hiding because they don't, number one, from themselves, they don't want to feel the pain. I will tell you, yes, it seems really bad, but it's staying where you are isn't nearly as bad. I mean, going through the pain and opening and clearing it isn't nearly as bad as staying where you are, because once you start to free yourself and get at that emotional, those wounds and those traumas from childhood, once you start to get at them, they really do come out fairly quickly, and they're not nearly as bad as when they went in, right? But if you don't face it, then you're stuck in the energy of it, the anxiety, the pain all over your body. That's why I had fibromyalgia, and why I cleared it. I mean, I have absolutely none of it because this was the process that I did. So the anxiety is when the wound can't be contained any longer, the shame can't be contained any longer, and everything you do up until that point is a band-aid. Everything you do up until that point is a band-aid. The acupuncture, the Reiki, it's only a temporary fix for the anxiety in the moment. I'm really hoping that I can bring Jennifer on for, I haven't asked her yet, for a live stream one of these weeks soon, because she has done a tremendous job. She works with me privately coaching. She has done a tremendous job in 6 months of allowing this shame and this guilt and this anxiety. Like she has really unpacked it and made tremendous headway in stepping into who she is and what her path and her purpose is. Outside of the fact that she's, raised 3 children and has a husband and a family business and all of those other things. So it's really, really exciting. And I want her to come on and speak to you guys about what that process has been and what it's like, because it's not nearly as bad as what people think it is. And so I think it's the shame that keeps everyone stuck in the fear and not moving forward. So the truth of it is that when you do unpack this, when you do get at the energy imbalances, and you really can look at what that is and then release the shame of it, and do, it's part of one of the processes that we do. But you get to the core cause, you unpack it, and you unravel it from the inside out. And now, wherever your anxiety is, however you experience it, like with Jennifer, sometimes it was in her solar plexus. Sometimes it was almost an anxiety in her throat. So we looked at this is exactly how I was feeling and experiencing. Yeah, this is exactly how we unravel it, because I happen to have, I'm not full of myself. It's just my gift, right? It took me a long time to accept it and to use it for good. And so this is exactly what we've done is followed the sensation. We followed whatever the sensation and the anxiety and where it is. And I've taught her the processes, this 5-part strategy that I use. It's how I unpacked all of my fibromyalgia and all the aches and pains in my body. 10 years. 10 years I was holding all of that. I was holding it a lot longer. It only showed up for 10 years, but it was in there. So this, all of these sensations, all of these chronic pains, all of these chronic aches that we have, they're in there, they're buried. The symptoms are the good news. We cannot run from them. We cannot hide from them. We have to move towards them. Um, what else do I want to tell you? I have my little notes here. It is about unpacking it and stepping into your personal power. Okay. You can't just drop yourself off at the massage therapist. Yeah, it feels better. We need to do those things. You can't just drop yourself off at the Reiki. I did that for 10 years. I let people drop themselves off. You've got to do the work, and you've got to find the person that, maybe it's not me. Maybe I'm not the right person for someone to work with. But my goodness, talk to me, because I will point you in the direction of somebody who is the right person if I'm not the right person. In a conversation that I had with Elena many, many, many times, and it's now come up again this week with someone who is a colleague on social media, and I'm going to do another live stream about this. I might do it on the regular page, because it's very valid, and it's very important about the difference between coaching, counseling, therapy. Yes, therapy is important to get at some of this stuff. However, just therapy and talking alone will not do the trick, because we've already established this is physical energy in your body. The issues are in the tissues. The cells have memory, and so that's where it's stored. Okay. And then with our shame, we're creating another frequency and another vibration and keeping it even more stuck, right? The inner critic is like, bam, stuff it back down. Okay. So it is scary and it is terrifying. A woman reached out to me and we were talking, and she said, what she was asking, what's the difference? And I'm not going to go deep into it. I'll do another training on this. The difference between moving through resistance and being so afraid of actually going too far. And I think this is very valid. I think a lot of people, this is why they don't do the work and why they're so scared and terrified, is they're afraid that they're going to unleash like this active PTSD, right? And if you are someone who feels that they are suffering from this trauma of some kind of childhood, one of the books I highly, highly, highly recommend to everyone is called Complex PTSD. I'll put a link in the comments after we finish for that book, and it will really help you understand what's going on emotionally. And so it can be scary, it can be terrifying, and there is a very, very big difference between working with a coach. So I don't even like calling myself a coach. Working with a coach, some coaches have absolutely no training in healing, right? In health, in anxiety, and PTSD, and any of those things. Not only have I had numerous professional trainings, I've also lived it and moved through it and worked through it. So that's what makes me really good at it, along with the intuitive piece. But there's a lot of coaches don't have any of that. And they don't have any business, if someone is going to be working with, say, a business coach or a life coach or something that they're trying to create something new in their life and to create, right, their purpose out in the world, that's very different than working on healing traumas and wounds and anxieties and emotions and things like that. And so my work is a combination of those things. It's really the healing mentor and the unpacking of all these things so that we can step into our power. But you don't work with a coach who tells you that you just need to push through the resistance without knowing whether or not there is an actual trauma or wound. And so that person, that client that's working with a coach that's being pushed out of the resistance. Number one, the responsibility lies on that client too, to be very, very clear. Hey, yeah, I'm working on such and such, but my business or my life or my career or creating something, but I am also working on emotional things, and I have physical ailments, and I have traumas, and I have stuff I have to work through. That's a different kind of work and a different kind of coach. Okay. So, um, it is possible, and it is scary, and it is terrifying, but recognize that it is energy. To recap all of this, it is energy, and you have control over the energy. You have control over this container, what goes in, what comes out. You don't have to go it alone. I'm super, super, super excited that my Body Freedom Blueprint, which is an 8-week group experience that is designed to lead people through this multidimensional healing process. And it allows you to tune into the wisdom of your body to facilitate cellular healing, to get at the energetic pieces, and to do it in a way that is kind and compassionate and healing. And up until now, this 5-step methodology that I use, if you've listened to any of my trainings, if you've read any of my blog posts or my work or followed me at all or done anything with me, I use a 5-step methodology. It's the 5 C's. And it truly, if you do this process, it will liberate you from physical disease. There's no quick fix. You have to do the work. But the program, up until now, this was only available to clients who did private coaching with me. And my private coaching is anywhere from 6 to 12 months. And it starts at like $5,000, depending on what program you do. This is the first time ever that I am going to be launching and offering this. And so it's all done as a group experience. It's a digital program. There's audio, there's video trainings from me, there's transcripts. And then once a week, we have a live Q&A call session. It's a Zoom session. It's a group session. It's not private. But it is weekly Q&A. So as you're going through the program, as you're going through all of the steps, you get support and you get guidance. And someone that has been through it, and someone to help you unpack and unravel all of these pieces, and to keep you accountable and to keep you on track. There's also a private Facebook community that's going to be a part of this program, and it's only for students of the Body Freedom Blueprint. And so you will have a network of support. Some of them are clients and students that have already done this work with me privately. So they are a support system. They know these 5 C's, they know these steps, and they're still working through them. That's the beauty of this. My path and my mission has always been and will always be, give me a fish, feed me for a day. Teach me to fish, feed me for a lifetime. And it truly pains me that people don't have the continuous, constant support that they need. And you have to have that. You cannot just keep jumping from practitioner to book to this to that and to like piecemeal. You have to have that continuity, and you have to have a format. And so once you do this, once you learn these 5 C's, like I've used this my whole life for the last 20, 25 years. I keep coming back to it. What's the cause? I need to get clarity. I need to clear. What's my core values? Like it's aligning all of these pieces together in this methodology. So once you learn it, you have the solid foundation to come back to over and over and over again, because guess what? We don't ever finish, right? Like I wish that was the truth, but if the purpose of life is increase. The purpose of our lives, of life in general, is increase and expansion. If you look in nature, like you take a seed, a apple or an acorn or whatever, and it goes in the ground and it eventually grows, right? Now, It's not like overnight. The oak tree doesn't just bam. No, it takes some time. And you're the same as that tree. You plant the seeds, you put it in, but you have to water, you have to nurture, you have to nourish, you have to prune, you have to do all of these things. And the tree will continue to grow. And some leaves and branches will die off, and you'll go through the season. So we never fully arrive. We are always expanding and growing. And this is like the framework, the foundation in this body freedom blueprint to have that groundwork that you can rely on time and time and time again, that you can go back to, so that as you grow, as you expand, right? Like I've been in the healing arts and business for 25 years. And what I do now is completely different than where I started 25 years ago as a healing touch practitioner. Okay. And so whatever it is that you're doing and you're meant to do, you're meant to grow, you're meant to expand into more of who you are. And the anxiety and the traumas and the stuff, I promise you, you'll hit a tipping point. The more you do this work, the more you follow through and have some guidance and have someone help you, you'll be more and more empowered, and the things will come quicker and quicker. Okay. What else do I want to tell you? That's pretty much it. You do have the ability, you are a container of energy. You do have the ability to control what goes in and what goes out. If you are struggling with anxiety, if you are struggling with pain in your body, dis-ease, and that energy is overwhelming, please reach out to me. Set up a discovery call. Let's talk about, even if it's not working with me is the right thing. I will point you in the direction of who you do need to work with or what you do need to do, how to unpack it, how to unravel it. And if the program is right for you, Body Freedom Blueprint starts July 1st. It will be an ongoing program. There's no intro and exit timing. It's an 8-week group experience, but it starts on July 1st. So you can get registered and get signed up and actually start working on it now. The official start date is July 1st. If you're ready to break free from the pain, from the symptoms, from the discomfort that's going on in your body, now is the time to get to the core cause and change it from the inside out once and for all. I can't think of anything else that I want to tell you. Please reach out to me, and I will see you. We've changed now, obviously, to Wednesdays. I will see you next Wednesday. If you have any questions about this, please type them in the comments, even after the video in the replay, and I'm happy to address them for you. So have a great Wednesday. I will see you guys next week, if not sooner. Take care.